Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Ahead of the Curve. I'm David Thomas. This is Bo Gill. We're here with another edition to get you updated on some news and local events. First of all, Bo, let's talk about the Bedford County Planning Commission meeting the other night.
Right.
We had PUDS on the
PUDS on the agenda.
Yeah, they were supposed to approve some. Where is it at? Out Longview?
Towards Longview Road, and it was it was brought up before the Planning Commission maybe a few months ago.
It was rejected?
It was given with an unfavorable recommendation, and there was a technical issue that brought it back actually before the Planning Commission. It was I think a rules type deal where it got voted or there didn't go the proper procedure. That's what.
Okay, so it was rejected then, brought back, and it was passed. What was the vote count?
I don't remember.
8 to 1,
but it passed close to unanimous. Yeah, I think there was a few, and there was a couple that abstained. I know the chair did. And
okay, what does it mean when you abstain in a situation like that? Does that mean you just don't want to come out publicly and say what you believe?
And then sometimes I think that happens, and that really burns me because sometimes if you're elected to serve on some, you need to have your opinion, but. It can happen. I'm not saying that that's what happened, but it can happen with family. If it's a family involved, if it's something close to you,
conflict of interest.
I think the chairman might live pretty close.
Okay,
to it
so it could be a conflict of interest. All right. So I want to ask this. A lot of people don't know what the Planning Commission is all about. Who does the Planning Commission represent?
It represents the people of Bedford County.
Okay, they're not divided into districts or anything. They're just a lump sum of them, just a group. Okay.
Yes.
So
and it doesn't include the city.
Okay, so you got the county people, the people who live in the county being represented by this group of folks. All right, so you have a corporation coming in, a company that wants to build a lot of homes in a PUD, and we've talked about PUDs before, how they're a planned unit development. They have common grounds, they have smaller lots than normal.
It's a self-contained type.
Yeah, it looks like a little town.
Some of them in bigger towns have commercial deals.
So what all's entailed? What about the sewer system on this? I know it's going to be some sort of tiered septic.
It's called a step system.
Yeah.
And they usually use that, and that's typical in rural developments in this county and surrounding counties. It's considered a public type sewer, but it is the only way to get, when you have that amount of volume, individual septic tanks won't.
It's not going to work. Well, the lots aren't big enough.
They're not.
And you're not going to get them all to perk.
That's right. So you're going to have an area for that step system as well as your water runoff.
So that comes with some added expense for them to develop. The other question is, are there any environmental impact on that if there were flooding involved on the septic system?
No. Generally, they're graded right and drainage and the containment is well secured. There's usually, I'm sure there has been something, but I've, to my knowledge, never known it to be nothing but really good. I mean, it's a technology that's been around for a while, and that it's works in these PUD type developments, and it's generally what people go to in rural areas.
What would be the closest PUD that somebody could go see if they wanted to look at an actual PUD as it exists today after it's been developed, already finished? Where's some at? Is there some on 99 and headed into Murfreesboro?
Well, there's some in Murfreesboro, and you'll see them. A lot of times they're really small lots together. We've got one here in Shelbyville off of Legends. The Legends subdivision off of Fairfield Pike is residential, but then off of there, there's been some recent development, and it's type of a PUD, and they're real close together. Real close together, small lot, and there is a HOA fee. There's a homeowner association, and there's the grass gets mowed by the same people. There's a lot of things that are shared.
So you don't mow your own grass in a PUD?
That's right, and also you own in many PUDs. Some of them are different, some are not. You own just a lot of times in the condo type townhouse, you own just the square footage of the dwelling.
But these are homes, right?
These are homes. You're going to have individual lots.
So you own the lot too?
You own the lot. But another place you can look would be Union Station here in Bedford County. Union Station was a great concept back in the 90s, and that broke ground maybe late 90s, early 2000s. And what Union Station had planned was for retail areas, a huge, it was a big city PUD a little bit too early as far as timing. It developed some, and then, well, not, other circumstances came along, economic crisis, and it kind of changed hands several times. Now it's flourishing again, but definitely not the same.
What kind of homes are they building out there? I hadn't been out there in a while. Have they changed?
They have. They started with more of a shotgun style house. It was real close. Now they've gone to a more of a traditional. There'll be vinyl siding. There might be a little bit of rock or stone. 2 stories. Really nice house.
So you've got looser codes out there than what it started out.
Right. And each one is with the city there, and that is a city, by the way.
Right. It's in the city limits.
They send site plans and other type of books for us to look at, pattern books, what they call it, that tells you all the design of those. But they've stayed conformed to the area pretty much. I mean, it's whenever they break off these little areas, those areas usually look the same. And there might be a different one over here, and that's how PUDs look sometimes. The bigger PUDs, they'll have this style of house here and then this style of house over here, but in the general area they're the same. But that's one you can go check out. Murfreesboro has a lot of them. I know there's a subdivision in Lewisburg, in close to in between Chapel Hill and Lewisburg, that it is not a PUD, but it's on a step system due to the poor soil there, and you can kind of see it back there. I mean, if you ever wanted to know where it's in the.
So I've heard pros and cons. I've heard some people that are totally against it. They think we're losing our agricultural sense in Bedford County. We start building these everywhere. Now this is just I guess this is our first test of an actual true PUD coming into Bedford County.
Well, in that location, it is in a rural setting.
Right.
The first one was right on the outskirts.
Right. It could be annexed.
This one is out. I mean, it's among country folk, and it's going to turn them off first thing, and rightfully so. And then the question comes up: well, what do we want Bedford County to be? Well, I'm pretty sure that they probably want it to be just like it is out there. And I can understand but then again, you've got individual landowner rights that come in. And if somebody wants to develop something that, and the question I guess comes up is the location right? Is the timing right? And
well, it's here's the thing. It's cheap land. Developer buys it. He's going to build and make a lot of money.
Yep.
Now that brings up another thing with the housing market obviously turning down nationwide. Not as bad here as in some locations. Some areas of the country have seen prices drop 30% already. We're going to see a slide in home prices. What happens if 3 years from now our prices have dropped by 30% or 40%, and you've got this developer that has started, he's midstream in this, can't sell them, having to drop prices, and then you have a incomplete PUD unit? What does that end up looking like?
Well, that precedence has been set here in Bedford County, and at Union Station, that's exactly what happened. They had 2 or 3, maybe more sold, and then all of a sudden it crashed. And then they had an auction where there were several.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
half-built houses that
sold out.
So that's what happens. Is they go away, the bank gets it back, and then a liquidation sale comes. And when that starts happening in mass areas, that's when the economy, you can really tell. Here, foreclosures.
Right now, we're good.
We're good. Prices are kind of stable to the real high stuff maybe coming to where it needed to be, but we're still good. We're still moving. People
are still coming into this area. Now, this gets on to the mindset and the debate on what do we want Bedford County to be. Okay, who determines what Bedford County is going to be like? How's it going to accept growth? And when I say growth, I'm talking not really growth, but just people coming in. That's not necessarily growth. No. That's just population increase.
I mean, we could put a fence up around Bedford County. Yeah. That's the only way I can think stop it. And I don't see that happening.
No, that's not going to happen.
So what we're going to have to do is work together as a county, because who you ask who can do that? Who says what Bedford County is? We all do together, but we have to work together.
Well, how do we speak?
Well, how do we get our voice out?
I'm saying it's set up, and our government system in the county is set up that our commissioners vote on our behalf.
Yes.
Now this ends up in front of the commission to be approved or disapproved.
When it goes to the planning commission, it is recommended. It's given a favorable or unfavorable.
Right.
And this was given a favorable, so that's not the end all be all. It moves to the committee, and then to the not the council, but the commissioners.
Right.
And then once the commissioners input can still be received. I'm not sure.
Well, that's when really our representatives are supposed to start asking us what we want.
Well, they should have started that at the planning commission level, because they need to have whoever the constituents are, whoever the council member is in that area, commissioner. He probably does have a good feel of that, and he needs to know. And it's not his opinion. Remember, it's the constituents that he represents.
Right, it's the people.
So he should already know this. So when it comes time and it comes up there, he should know the thoughts, and probably a lot. And I'm not sure. I guess the public can do can talk there. I know that they let them at the planning commission.
Right.
But in the planning commission, it's not a political body, so they have a rule. These rules and regulations.
They're just looking at rules.
They have to go by it, regardless if they like it or not.
You got codes that you have to look at, and that's what they're looking at.
So then it comes to the commission level, and that's where the voices should be heard, and it shouldn't be just a feeling issue, a thing. There should be some logic, and there should be some reason in there.
Well, our code should be set up to direct the type growth that we have. I mean, that's the way. And so if there's an issue of exponential growth that we can't handle, then that means our code system is wrong.
Well, right now you could put a Bedford County map up and take Shelbyville out, and you can just throw a dart where you want to put. There is no future land use plan. There's not a comprehensive land use plan, and I think that they need that dearly. I think that needs to be something that way it isn't the comprehensive plan is not etched in stone, but it gives us direction. That way we're not just throwing darts.
Yeah, and that's what happened to Murfreesboro, I think, or Rutherford County. They started just taking everybody. I mean, you had Nashville flooding over into Murfreesboro, Rutherford County area. Yeah. There's some farmland around that's not there anymore. You look at how it from our exit, 231 exit, on all the way down for a couple of exits. All of that is starting to fill in with this type of stuff. And I'm not saying it's good or bad, but some people do not like that feel.
It's not everything in Rutherford County right now is zoned residential.
Yeah.
It's not automatically agriculture like it is. They've given up. They welcome the development.
So the question is, does this type of stuff actually bring more business to Bedford County?
Well, I think generally when you bring more people, you bring more business. Now it depends where these people are going to work. Now, if they're that close to the Rutherford County line,
well, they're not working here.
Oh yeah, and the Williamson County line, so they're driving north. So they're spending about 2 miles in Bedford County.
They're driving to sleep, and then they're going back to do their stuff over there.
So they're in this northern part of Bedford County where there's no retail, and they probably stopped from coming home in Murfreesboro to get all their stuff. So I would say that, but I'm not to say that they won't spend money here. I think there will be an economic impact. I think that more money will be spent, but I also think that it could create good things. I mean, it seems to be in an area. I would think something like this would be better closer to DC. I didn't do the study on it. These guys, they're the ones, with the making the decision.
I think the general consensus going back for probably 150 years in the way the county systems are structured. There's a county seat in each county.
Right.
In most states. All right. Tennessee has a county seat. County seat of Bedford County, Shelbyville. Mm-hmm. The center of Bedford County is where 231 and 41A cross. That is it. And the growth should propel from that center location outwards.
I agree.
That's the way things were set up. That's the reason our town square was built. Things built from the outside. All right, so now we have a rotten core, and we've got decorations around it. And what I mean by rotten core, no growth right here in the city as far as down Madison Street.
And here.
And here. It's spotty.
And it does, it does grow naturally, and it should. That way, that spotty growth, so is that going to bring, what is that going to bring to us? People think, is it going to bring more retail and stuff? No way, I don't think so at all in Bedford County. Now, it might boom up Unionville more. They've had a few,
well, I don't say Unionville getting a Old Charlie's.
Well, I don't see that happening, but I do see them possibly getting incorporated and maybe moving along.
They might get another convenience store, too.
They might.
They might get another Family Dollar.
Oh, Dollar General.
Dollar General, that's it. Dollar General.
They might get a Family Dollar.
No, I doubt it. I think they're going out of business. I don't know about them. But anyway, the whole point is, I think the concern a lot of people have is we need growth the right way. And I don't think anybody has a magic pill to give anybody to make that happen. I think everybody's got to work together and organize. I mean, our infrastructure has to be organized in a way that it will accept true growth. And we've talked about this 100 times
we
already.
shouldn't just say yes to the first people.
Yeah.
I think we ought to realize our value. I think we've got value, and I think if we pick the right investors here that in the right locations, location. You hear that all the time, but it is important in many aspects.
All right, let's change gears. Go from the PUD. We want to hear what you think about the PUD. Give us your opinion. Leave a comment here on Facebook, and let us know how you feel about the PUD, and that message will get out to your representative, hopefully.
Yes.
All right, speaking of representatives, the city of Shelbyville has an election November the 8th.
They sure do.
That's coming up. We've got a city mayor and 3 council people that's going to be elected.
That's right.
What are you hearing on the election, Bo?
I'm hearing that, now that, and I take this just to, I want to thank Mayor Wally Cartwright, that has been a great representative and a great figurehead for Shelbyville for, I forgot, 14 years, but he served in the council many years, so I just want to thank him, and I just want to say it's been an honor to just work beside you and serve beside you, and I just thank you, and I wish you luck in the future. But now that we've got, I think that since Wally made his official
announcement that he was
not running, that Randy and Randy Carroll and Brian Aaron, it has really heated up.
And Lizzie Peoples is in the mix too. I know that our poll, it's pretty close between Randy and Brian. So it looks like it's going to be a 2-man race. That's not I mean, you never know. Lizzie might come in there, but with that right now, we've got 2. And my question is, how many voters are going to get out? What are you thinking, Bo?
Well, I don't know. I'd like to look at the last general election and see those figures, and then kind of break it down to a city level. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I hope they get 2,000.
If we get 2,000, it'll be a miracle.
Well, I tell you that the South Side race is pretty interesting. Also, there's several candidates.
You got 3 there.
You've got 3 there, and so I'm not really sure about the other the races that are going on, but we can get those and maybe report those in the next show on that. But something that I would like to bring up about these elections, that if you are like myself and live in the county, but I do own property in Shelbyville, I did not know this until a friend of mine told me this week. You can vote in these Shelbyville elections where the house you own is located. All you do is you go to the election commission, and then you just fill out a voter form. I never thought that I could, and I didn't know
either,
that.
but it's unconstitutional if we don't. No taxation without representation.
It makes sense, and I always wondered why. But
same thing as business owners. If you own a business and you're paying personal property tax to the city, you can vote in the city election.
And if you own multiple houses in different
you can vote on those different districts.
You can vote on whichever one on each year.
Yeah.
So you can't just vote in all of them, but you declare
you have an
option.
Ward. Yeah.
So I wanted everybody to know that, because I did not know that, and I think I know everything, but guess what?
Well, you learn something every day, and I found out this just recently as well as a business owner. So I plan on voting in that city election
just
for
stay
sure.
Ahead of the curve on that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Bo, that's all we got right now. We're going to have some more stuff coming up, and I know we've got a couple of Meet the Candidates coming out, so you'll get to hear from a couple of our city candidates within the next week or so. Probably one tomorrow. The next day we'll be out. We have Mr. Randy Carroll sit down and had a good conversation with us, and we're going to have that show out soon. So guys, thanks for watching, and be looking real soon for another edition of Ahead of the Curve. Thanks for watching.